A routine investigation took a terrifying turn when police uncovered a hidden lab inside a house. What these people caught was beyond disturbing.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Strange experiments.
What the
Eerie evidence, and something that should never have existed.
Yes, sir. Who are you talking to?
The footage captured reveals a chilling mystery that remains unexplained, leaving more questions than answers.
Go, go, go! Go now!
Mira. Ahí lo tiene, Naomi.
Late at night on a deserted rural road, two police officers came across something straight out of a nightmare. Their headlights revealed a horrifying sight, an unnatural figure with disturbingly long limbs hovering over an unmoving man on the ground. The officers froze. The way the creature moved, slow and deliberate, didn't seem human. Its twisted frame loomed over the unconscious man, almost as if it was feeding on him. Instinct took over. The officers threw the car into reverse and sped off, their hearts racing. Whatever that thing was, they weren't going to stick around to find out. Supernatural entity or something beyond explanation. Some nights, even law enforcement isn't ready for what lurks in the dark.
¿Ve eso?
Ghost meets guard.
Who is he talking to?
A routine shift took a chilling turn for a security guard in Houston when cameras caught him having a full-blown conversation with no one in sight.
Yes, sir. Who are you talking to?
His co-worker, confused, asked who he was talking to. The guard casually responded, "Miss Abigail, looking for Mr. Griffin."
Says he's looking for Mr. Griffin. Her name is Miss Abigail.
Did you say Miss Abigail?
Yes, ma'am.
Then came the bombshell. Miss Abigail had passed away 2 years ago.
Are you sure you're saying Miss Abigail? Miss Abigail is... She died 2 years ago.
The footage is unsettling. The guard gestures, nods, and even reacts as if someone is standing right in front of him. A simple misunderstanding? Or did he unknowingly chat with a ghost? Either way, if the dead start clocking in for work, it might be time to quit.
No, there's nobody in front of you. At all.
Police scare. A lone police officer on night patrol drives past a wooded area when something stops him cold. A blood-curdling scream from deep within the trees. No hesitation, no second thoughts. He jumps back in his car and gets out of there. It's almost funny. One moment he's fearless, the next he's peeling out of the scene. But that scream? It wasn't normal. Was it an animal, a lost hiker, or something far more sinister? Whatever it was, the officer made the right call. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Alleyway incident. September 20th, 2024. A routine bike patrol turned into something straight out of a horror movie. One officer suddenly froze, his face blank, eyes locked on something unseen. Then, without a word, he lifted a trembling hand and pointed down a dark alley. The others followed his gaze.
Vocês vão ser levados junto com os filhos dela.
And that's when they saw it. A dark blur, moving impossibly fast, rushing toward them. Panic kicked in. The officers bolted, but when they turned back, one of them wasn't running. The officer who pointed just stood there, completely still. Whatever he saw, whatever it was, had him frozen in place. Ghost? Entity? Something worse? One thing's for sure. No one's volunteering for that patrol again. Market ghost. A quiet night shift took a bizarre turn for a security guard in a Peruvian market when he was caught on camera chatting with no one. He swore he was speaking to a young girl, polite, curious, asking him questions. But when the footage was reviewed, there was no one there. Was it exhaustion, a trick of the mind, or was the guard unknowingly speaking to a lingering spirit? Whatever the truth, one thing's clear. Next time, he might just keep his head down and finish his shift in silence. Raid gone wrong. What started as a routine police raid turned into a full-blown nightmare. The footage, eerie from the start, shows officers cautiously sweeping an abandoned building. They reach a door, push it open, and freeze. In the shadows, something is there. Something humanoid, but not quite. The moment it moves, the cops lose it, bolting out of there like they just walked in on something they weren't meant to see. If this was an alien, a creature, or something entirely unknown, one thing's for sure: that building's getting zero follow-up visits. Wheelchair nightmare.
Are you okay, ma'am?
A quiet street, a lone wheelchair rolling along the sidewalk, already unsettling. But for one police officer on night patrol, things got way worse. Curious, he approached to check on the person. Big mistake. The wheelchair stopped. Then, out of nowhere, the person jumped up and sprinted at him like something straight out of a horror movie. No hesitation, no explanation, just full-speed terror. The cop did what anyone with survival instincts would: ran for his life. The video cuts off, leaving everyone wondering what just happened. If anyone has updates, I'm dying to know. Abandoned school. Horror.
Somebody's in there. Scared the out of me.
Late-night complaints led a cop to investigate an abandoned school, and what started as a simple patrol turned into something straight out of a horror flick. He wandered the empty halls, flashlight in hand, until he stepped into the bathroom. That's when he saw it, a motionless figure lurking at the far end. Heart pounding, he approached, only to realize it was just a mannequin. Relief? Not so fast. The second his flashlight hit it, the thing fell forward on its own. Coincidence? Or some twisted prank? Either way, the cop didn't stick around to find out. Phantom collision. At 3 a.m. in the Philippines, motorcycle rider Carl Dagas was cruising down the road when something darted toward his bike. It looked like a young teen, except when Carl slowed down, expecting the worst. No one was there, just an empty road and a passing bus. Confused, he checked his dashcam footage later, and that's when things got really creepy. The figure was there, clear as day, but it had no face, just a blurry, ghostly shape that appeared and vanished in an instant. If that doesn't convince you to avoid late-night rides, I don't know what will. Hotel haunting. Puerto Rico's Marriott Stellaris. Condado holds more than just luxury, it holds ghosts. Before it was a high-end resort, it was the DuPont Plaza, the site of a devastating fire in 1986. Many guests never made it out, and some say they never left. Fast forward to 2019, one security guard learned that the hard way. While patrolling a rarely visited floor at 3 a.m., she felt something yank her hair. Assuming it was a prank, she turned around. No one was there. But when security footage was reviewed, her story checked out. Whatever grabbed her wasn't visible. At least, not to the living. Frozen clowns. Late one night, a chilling emergency call sent law enforcement rushing to a bizarre roadside scene. Two clowns stood perfectly still, their painted faces frozen in unsettling grins. Even as police arrived with flashing lights, neither of them moved an inch. Motorists passing by reported feeling uneasy, as if something more sinister lurked beneath those eerie smiles. Were they just elaborate pranksters? Or was there something deeply unnatural about their presence? Whatever the case, that night left many people questioning their fear of clowns, and realizing maybe it isn't so irrational after all. Chicken-like creature. This forest ranger on duty heard an unsettling noise echo through the trees. He turned his flashlight toward the source, and that's when he saw it. A pale, oversized, chicken-like creature peered at him from behind a tree. Its shape was all wrong, its movements unnatural, but the worst part? The eerie, guttural sounds it made, unlike anything the ranger had ever heard before. Then it moved, taking a few slow, deliberate steps in his direction. That was all he needed to run for his life. The footage cuts off, leaving one question. What in the world did he just see? Phantom cell door. A prison officer on night patrol approached a cell where an inmate had recently passed away. Just as they stepped closer, the heavy metal gate swung open on its own. No breeze, no movement in the air, just a cold silence pressing down on the hallway. The officer stood frozen, heart pounding. Was it just a mechanical glitch, or something unseen stepping out for a late-night stroll? One thing's for sure, paranormal or not, that moment was straight out of a horror movie. Some doors are better left shut. Ceiling crawler. Neighbors kept hearing gut-wrenching screams from an abandoned building, so they called the cops. The officers arrived, expecting a routine investigation, maybe a trespasser or someone squatting inside. What they found was much worse. One officer spotted it first, a pale, humanoid figure crawling on the ceiling. Its face was featureless. Its movements were impossibly fast. The officer froze, barely able to react before it darted toward them. That was it. Both officers bolted for their lives. The footage cuts right there, leaving us to wonder, did they make it out in time?
What the
Campfire horror. A group of teens was chilling by a campfire near an abandoned building when things took a terrifying turn. Strange noises echoed from inside, voices speaking in an unfamiliar language. Instead of running, they did what every horror movie tells you not to do. They went to check it out. Shining a flashlight through a broken window, they caught a glimpse of something. A strange, pale figure peeked out, then disappeared in an instant. That was enough to send them running. Honestly, monster or not, I'd stick to roasting marshmallows instead of investigating nightmare fuel. Alien standoff. Back in 1978, something out of this world happened near McGuire Air Force Base, New Jersey. A military official spotted a small gray figure on the road. Big head, black eyes, the whole alien look. Panicked, he ordered it to surrender. When it didn't respond, he aimed his weapon. The being bolted, scaled a fence, and collapsed right on the runway. Moments later, military blue berets swarmed the area, sealing everything off before whisking the body away. Since then, no records, no explanations, just silence. Was this real proof of extraterrestrial life? Whatever happened that night, the truth never made it to the public. Tunnel nightmare. A YouTuber and his friend decided to explore a dark, abandoned tunnel in the dead of night. Things felt off from the start. Scattered shoes and a still warm campfire suggested someone had been there recently, but no one was around, or so they thought. Deeper inside, they spotted something. Before they could react, a pale, towering figure suddenly charged toward them. Panic took over. They bolted, the camera shaking wildly. Then the video cut off. No clue what happened next, but one thing's for sure. Exploring creepy tunnels at night? Terrible idea. Forest stalkers. A forest ranger on patrol late at night caught something disturbing on camera. His flashlight flickered over the trees, and suddenly, two humanoid figures peeked out from behind the bushes. They were unnaturally pale, too tall, too thin. Before he could process what he was seeing, the figures vanished back into the darkness. That was enough. No second look, no investigation, just a straight-up run for safety. Because let's be real, if something that eerie is lurking in the woods, you don't stick around to ask questions. Forest encounter. A night patrol in the dense forests near Montreal took a chilling turn when a ranger unknowingly recorded something lurking in the trees.
My God.
The footage, filmed on September 26th and 27th, 2013, starts off uneventfully, just the ranger walking through the dark woods. But then, pure panic. If you pause the video at the right moment, a pale figure can be seen peering from behind the trees. Its eerie presence, combined with the ranger's startled reaction, makes it feel real. Was it just someone sneaking through the border, trying to stay hidden, or was something else lurking in the shadows? Either way, that's a night he'll never forget. Tiny mystery. During the 2020 lockdown in San Ramon, Bolivia, a security guard reviewing surveillance footage spotted something bizarre. A tiny figure stepped out from behind a tree, moving in an unusual way toward a neighbor's house. It appeared to be wearing a poncho-like outfit and had an unnatural, almost puppet-like walk before vanishing into the darkness. Locals immediately started speculating. Some believe it could have been a duende, a mythical creature known in Latin American folklore. Others think it was just a lost child. But if that's the case, where did it go? With no further trace of the figure, one thing is certain. No security guard wants to see something like that in the middle of the night. Strange lights.
Reventar jamás en mi vida, jamás en la vida pensé que...
While driving toward Esquel, Argentina, witnessed something completely unexplainable. As he recorded, a glowing white light hovered in the sky, shifting and moving in ways that didn't seem normal. He later shared the footage on social media, saying, "I never thought I'd go through something like this." His friends, watching alongside him, were left speechless. Even local police and military took an interest, as similar reports had been flooding in from the area. Authorities have since launched an investigation, but no clear explanation has surfaced. Whether it's some rare atmospheric event, experimental aircraft, or something out of this world, there's no denying that something strange is happening in the skies over Argentina. Chapel mystery. A hospital security guard, just trying to take a moment to pray, found himself in a deeply unsettling situation. While passing by the chapel, he noticed a man kneeling in front of the cross. Nothing unusual, until the man stood up. His slow, swaying movements felt unnatural, like something was seriously off. The guard caught it all on camera, and when he shared it online, the internet went wild. Some say it was just a strange man, but others felt something darker was at play. With no solid explanation, this eerie moment remains a chilling mystery. Jellyfish entity. On December 26, 2018, in Nezahualcóyotl, Mexico, Dr. Jaime Lune Becerra and his daughter witnessed something completely bizarre. A floating, jellyfish-like figure descended from the sky, sprouting limbs as it moved. Security cameras captured it creeping close to the ground, shifting shapes and even camouflaging like something out of Predator. To make things even weirder, glowing lights hovered nearby. Some believe it was a UFO, others say it was just an optical illusion. But whatever it was, Dr. Becerra and his daughter got a front row seat to one of the strangest sightings ever caught on camera. Ghostly hospital. During a quiet late-night shift, a hospital security guard filmed a simple video message for his family. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until he reviewed the footage later. Staring at him through a second-floor window was the ghostly face of an elderly woman. Here's where it gets chilling. There was no ledge, no platform, and no possible way anyone could have been standing outside that window. Some believe it was the spirit of a former patient returning to the place she once called home. The guard? He's convinced it was something else entirely. Whatever it was, I'm officially done with second-floor windows at night. Ghostly balloon game. A security guard on the night shift had an encounter that was equal parts creepy and heartwarming. He spotted a few toddlers playing in the hallway, so he did what any kind soul would, handed them balloons. They even had a little chat. Nothing strange, right? Well, when the footage was reviewed, things took a chilling turn. There were no kids, just the guard talking to thin air, and the balloons floating eerily around him, as if something unseen was holding them. Sweet or terrifying? Either way, I'd be requesting a day shift after that. Temple apparition. Late one night, local police responded to reports of a strange figure near an old temple. What they found wasn't a trespasser, it was something else. Under the dim temple lights, a ghostly woman in white paced back and forth, as if waiting for someone. The officers, they kept their distance, recording every eerie moment for proof. Some say it was a spirit tied to the temple, while skeptics insist it had to be a prank. Either way, nobody stuck around to find out, ghost or not. That's one late-night call I'd pass on. Abandoned asylum. Terror. This cop's ghost encounter is next level terrifying. After rumors of people vanishing in an abandoned asylum in Thailand, he decided to investigate. Bad move. Inside, he spotted eerie figures in hospital gowns, appearing in the shadows only to disappear seconds later. The silence was unnatural. The flickering lights made it worse, and his nerves were shot. Then it happened. Something moved right behind him. The legend? He let out the loudest scream in cop ghosts history. Paranormal or not, he ran for his life. And honestly, I can't blame him. Ghostly church encounter. This eerie video has everyone on edge. A man exploring an abandoned church got way more than he expected. After wandering through the crumbling halls, he reached the sanctuary, only to hear high-pitched noises echoing through the empty space. Then he saw her. A pale woman in a white robe sat silently in the pews, completely motionless. Something about her just felt wrong. Freaked out, the man screamed in terror. And let's be real, it sounded genuine. Was she a lingering spirit tied to the church, or just a really good prank? Either way, that's one encounter nobody would want to relive. Woods aren't silent. This spine-chilling dashcam footage comes straight out of Bladenboro, North Carolina. In February 2024, a man was driving down a dark, wooded road, heading toward his cottage deep in the forest. Just as he pulled into the driveway, his headlights lit up something terrifying. A tall, furry humanoid standing on two legs. Yep. You heard that right, a dogman, or so he claims. The creature only appeared for a second before vanishing into the trees, but that was more than enough to send the guy packing. He didn't stay the night, and honestly, can't blame him. Who wants a dogman lurking outside their window? Soldier's nightmare. They say soldiers are fearless, but some things go beyond courage. One soldier got separated from his team in a dense forest at night, and that's when the nightmare began.
What do you want from me?
He wasn't alone. From the darkness, something emerged. Long, unnatural limbs, no clear body, and a face that was just wrong. Then the whispers started, an eerie voice echoing all around him.
Me.
Whatever this thing was, it wasn't human. Even the bravest wouldn't stick around to investigate. Soldier or not, anyone would have bolted. And honestly, I would too. Tunnel terror. What started as a fun adventure on November 19th, 2016 turned into something straight out of a horror movie. A group of teens decided to explore an abandoned tunnel, laughing and filming their way through until they spotted something at the far end. A pale humanoid figure was slowly walking toward them. No sound, no explanation, just creeping closer. And then, chaos. The teens screamed, stumbled, and ran for their lives. Their exit anything but smooth.
Go, go, go! Go now!
Reptilian bodyguard. Now, this one's wild. A video of a bodyguard standing near President Obama sparked a massive online debate. Why? Well, he didn't look human. His skin, oddly smooth. His ears, non-existent. His facial features, unsettlingly off. Conspiracy theorists went crazy, claiming he might be a shape-shifting reptilian or some kind of alien bioandroid. The White House even joked about it, saying any alien security programs were cut due to budget issues. Nice timing, huh? But seriously, was it just weird lighting, or did cameras catch something our eyes couldn't? Rider's nightmare. This creepy footage from Indonesia will send chills down your spine. A group of bikers was riding down a dimly lit road at night, filming their journey, when they spotted something bizarre. Hanging from a tree branch above them was a white, motionless figure. It wasn't moving, but its eerie shape and unnatural presence made their skin crawl. No one knows what it was. An animal, a ghostly entity, or just a messed up prank. Either way, nobody stuck around to find out. Mission gone wrong. This footage from India is straight up wild. A group of undercover cops was on a top secret mission in the desert when things took a terrifying turn. Out of nowhere, bizarre, colorful creatures with monster-like faces jumped onto their tractors. Their movements unnatural. The cops, clearly shaken, tried to fend them off using fire torches and sparklers, shouting as they fought back. But here's where it gets really weird. These things showed up right when the cops were investigating an alleged alien base. Coincidence? Or were these creatures protecting something? Alley chase. This security cam footage is the stuff of nightmares. In a dimly lit alley, two people run for their lives, pure panic in their movements. Then the reason for their terror steps into view. A thin, alien-like creature with elongated limbs and a swaying tail moves into the frame. Its predatory movements are downright unsettling, like a mix between a wild animal and something not from this world. What was it? A freaky new species? A bizarre prank? Whatever the case, those two had the right idea. Run first, ask questions later. Possession of Kamika. On December 31st, 2022, 3 police officers in Poland responded to a disturbing call about loud, eerie noises coming from a house. When they arrived, they were not prepared for what they found. The house once belonged to a family of cannibals, and now, inside, a 20-year-old woman named Kamilka was playing with an Ouija board. That alone was creepy enough, but then she started acting feral. Her behavior was animalistic, her movements unnatural. The officers couldn't get close to her. Eventually, they had to use a ladder to reach her and get her to safety. After a hospital visit, Kamilka seemed perfectly fine, with no medical explanation for her behavior. What happened inside that haunted house? Nobody knows. But let's just say, playing with spirits in a cursed house doesn't seem like the best idea. Moving ghost machine. Remember that viral video from Jhansi, India? The one where an exercise machine in a public park started moving on its own, spooking everyone? Well, turns out it wasn't paranormal after all. After digging deeper and translating the police officer's interview, the real cause behind the movement is actually hilarious. Apparently, the machine had been over-greased.
वीडियो वायरल हो रहा था कि जिसमें झूला काफी देर अपने आप चल रहा था उसको मैंने चेक किया उसमें ग्रीसिंग ज्यादा है इसलिए मूवमेंट काफी देर तक चल रहा है ऐसी इसमें कोई बात नहीं है
And the mechanism caused it to move all by itself. No ghosts, no haunted park, just too much oil. So yeah, we can officially put the ghost theories to rest, but let's be honest, believing in mischievous park spirits was way more fun. Zombie chase. Thermal footage from an army chopper captured something straight out of a horror movie. A lone man sprinted for his life, pursued by figures moving in a way that didn't seem normal. These eerie, stiff-moving shapes kept coming, ignoring the man's frantic attempts to fend them off. No reaction. No stopping. The way they moved screamed zombie vibes. Eventually, the man was surrounded. And that was it. Game over. If this wasn't some kind of movie stunt, then what on earth did that footage capture? Either way, I'm not sleeping tonight. Food court phantom. During his night patrol at a Mexican shopping mall, a security guard spotted a young girl sitting alone in the food court. She looked scared, so he approached, offering reassurance. She told him her mom had gone to the restroom, and he even patted her head comfortingly. But when he checked in with his co-workers moments later, they told him something chilling. There was no one in the food court. Security cameras backed it up. He had been talking to an empty chair. Shocked, he bolted from the area, but one thing was clear. He hadn't imagined it. Whatever he saw was real, just not in the way he thought. Blinding encounter. This dashcam footage feels like a scene straight out of science fiction. A cop pulls over a car on a deserted road, steps out, and shines his flashlight inside. Then, boom! A blinding light engulfs the entire scene. The next thing we see, the cop is on the ground, the car speeding off like it just broke light speed. What happened in those missing seconds? Was it some kind of alien interference? A high-tech getaway trick? Whatever it was, one thing's clear. The officer had no chance of stopping that car. Phantom Patrol. It was just another Saturday night until Officer Carl Romero caught something eerie on the Espanola police station surveillance feed. At first, it looked like a moth until it walked.
At first, I thought it was like a polilla, like a fly, a moth. Then I saw the legs and it was a human.
A figure drifted through the station's secure area without opening a gate or setting off alarms. Officers reviewed the footage, and nope, it wasn't a glitch. And it's not the first time weird stuff has happened. Cops have reported hearing whispers, seeing shadows, and even feeling invisible breaths on their necks. With so many unsolved cases nearby, could something be lingering? Ghost or not, I'd be finishing my paperwork at home from now on. Las Vegas UFO Patrol. When Las Vegas cops start taking aliens seriously, you know something's up. It all started when a family called 911, claiming a UFO crashed in their backyard. At first, police thought nothing of it, until an officer's body cam caught something that looked like a UFO in the sky. Then came the real kicker. The family reported tall, strange beings lurking in their yard. Now, the police have set up surveillance cameras in case these visitors decide to come back. So, is this the beginning of something big, or just another weird Vegas story? House of Echoes. When officers responded to a break-in call, they expected a routine case, but the house they entered had other plans. It was empty, no signs of forced entry, no movement, nothing. Yet noises kept shifting from room to room. Every time they followed the sounds, the room would be vacant. Doors creaked, footsteps echoed, whispers floated through the air. Yet, no source was ever found. After a thorough search, they left with more questions than answers. To this day, those officers still talk about the case that led them into nothingness. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This video comes straight from a bizarre zombie exhibition at Area 51. What was supposed to be a controlled experiment quickly turned into a complete nightmare. At first, the creatures inside their tank seemed calm and docile, just part of the display. But then, things went horribly wrong. Without warning, they started thrashing, their low growls turning into feral screeches, like something ripped straight out of a horror film. The crowd, frozen in fear. Then the tanks start cracking. Alarms blare, security panics, and the entire room plunges into chaos. Whoever thought they could contain zombies clearly didn't think this through, because, let's be real, you can't.